So today what we're going to be working on is performing elementary row operations with your calculator. So we're going to take a matrix and put it in row echelon using the calculator. Alright, so I have this given system of equations here. And the first thing we need to do is enter the system of equations into our calculator in matrix form. Alright, so you're going to hit second matrix on the calculator. That's by the x to the negative 1 power. And you're going to go over to edit, enter. You have to enter in the order of your matrix. It's a 3 by 4 matrix, so enter. And then you're going to plug in your coefficients and your equal, because it's a augmented matrix that you're plugging in. And then this is what you should have when you're done. Your matrix should look like this. So we should have 1, negative 1, 1, 6, 2, 0, negative 1, 6, 2, 2, negative 1, and 12. Okay, and then you're going to hit second quit on the calculator. And then you're going to hit second matrix, number 1. And then what this will do, this will take your matrix and store it in A. So we're doing this just in case you make a mistake and you need to start over. This way, this will already be in the calculator and we don't have to re-enter it into the calculator. Okay, so I'm just going to move this up. All right, so now what I would like you to do is to rewrite your matrix down where it says row operations. So I have 1, negative 1, 1, 6, 2, 0, negative 1, 6, 2, 2, negative 1, and 12. Okay, so let's just look at the matrix and see what we have to do, because you have to enter into the calculator what we need to do. Okay, so I want to make this, I already have this as 1, so I want to make this a 0. So I'm going to multiply row 1 by negative 2 and then add it to row 3. So I want to do negative 2 row 1, add it to row 3. Okay, so to do this, so it's going to be a lot of notes right here. Okay, so don't write too big. All right, so you're going to hit second matrix. So after you do this a couple times, so you don't have to keep writing all that down. You just have to write down what you're plugging in. And then you're going to go over to math. All right, now look down for F. Right, you have all these numbers and it goes to the letters, and look for F, and we're looking for this one, star row plus. So your star here is what you're multiplying by. That means you want to multiply it by something. And then this means you want to add another row. All right, and then you have parentheses. So then in the parentheses, you're going to put negative 2. That is what you're multiplying by. And then you hit comma. So look for the comma button. And then you have to put in matrix A. You have to put in this guy, right? What you stored. So you hit matrix for that. Number 1. And then it's comma 1, which means we're multiplying negative 2 by row 1, sorry, comma, and we're adding it to row 2. Parentheses. And this should actually be a 2 here. I wrote 3. So you could just erase that. This here should be a 2. I wrote 3. Sorry. Okay. So, and then you're going to hit enter. And then it's going to give you your matrix. And we're going to write that down in a minute. But I want to store this. Now, when I store this, so hopefully you hit enter here. Let me just put down. You should have hit enter. Now I want to store this. And the reason why I want to store this, and every time I want to store this, is because if I make a mistake, I could just go back one step rather than going back all the way to the beginning. All right? So we're going to store this in matrix B. So you're going to hit store, S-T-O. Look for it down towards the bottom left of your calculators. And then it's going to say answer. And it's going to have an arrow. and then you're going to hit second matrix because we want to put in matrix B. Okay, so to get matrix B, you're going to do second matrix. And you want 2. Enter. Okay? All right, so what this will do is it's going to store your new matrix in matrix B. And now what we're going to do is we are always now going to be using, so write this down, we will be now, we will now be using matrix B, right, matrix B, and restoring, or actually like overriding, matrix B. Okay, so we're always going to be using matrix B now that I have that stored in there. And we'll restore over matrix B, restore over matrix B. All right, so make sure you store matrix B. All right, write down your new matrix. All right, so my new matrix is 1, -1, 1, 6, 0, 2, -3, -6, 2, 2, -1, -12. Okay, so now let's see what we need to do. I'm just going to move this stuff up. Okay, so it looks like I want to get this to be a 0. So I'm going to multiply row 1 by -2 and add it to row 3. So it's -2 row 1 plus row 3. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do second matrix. Going to go over to math. And I want the same one. I want F, which is star row plus. And we want to multiply by -2. So you type in -2, comma. We need to go to matrix B. Right, so hit second matrix, number 2. And I want to multiply -2 by row 1, and I'm going to add it to row 3. Hit enter, and you'll get your new matrix, and we need to store this. So I'm going to hit store, answer, and we're going to hit matrix B. So hit second matrix, number 2, and that overrides what we had in there. So now you can rewrite your new matrix. And our new matrix is 1, -1, 1, 6. 0, 2, -3, -6. 0, 4, -3, 0. Okay, so let's see what we want to do now. So it looks like I want to multiply row 2. It looks like the easiest thing to do is get this to be 0. So I'm going to multiply row 2 by -2 so that this number here becomes a -4, and I'm going to multiply that by and add it to row 3. So I'm going to, and then I'll go back and I'll get the 2 to be a 1, but I think it's easiest if we just get this to be a 0 first. So I'm going to multiply row 2. So -2 row 2 plus row 3. Okay, so we hit second matrix math. All right, so we want star row plus parentheses. So it's -2, comma. I want matrix B. So hit second matrix number 2, comma. I want to multiply -2 by row 2 and add it to row 3. Hit enter. You'll get your new matrix. And now we're going to store this. Oh, actually, yeah, so we want to store this. So store, answer, and put that in matrix B. So let's write our new matrix. So our new matrix is going to be, I know you guys are probably on the back of your paper, that's fine. Because I have notes on the back there anyway at the bottom. So rewrite your new matrix. So I have 1, -1, 1, 6, 0, 2, negative 3, negative 6, 0, 0, 3, 12. All right, so now what I want is I want to get this 2 to become a 1. So I have to multiply by 1/2. This is why I had you guys always multiplying, not dividing, because your calculator doesn't have a button to divide. It only has a row to multiply by. So we want to do 1/2 of row 2. So you're going to do second matrix, go over to math, and we're looking for the one where I just multiply by a row. So it's star row. Notice that none of them have a divide. So I have to type in, what am I going to multiply by? I'm going to multiply by 1/2, so 1 divided by 2, comma, to matrix B, comma, row 2. Hit enter. Okay, so now notice that your matrix has decimals in it. And you can change that to fractions, just how you would change a normal decimal to fractions. So you hit the math button, right? Number 1 says frac. So you hit number 1, frac, enter, and it'll change your matrix to fraction form. All right, so that negative 1.5 now becomes negative 3 over 2. Now make sure you do save it. So it's store, answer, B. Okay, so next, first, sorry, you want to write down your matrix. So that would be 1, negative 1, 1, 6, 0, 0, 1, 0. Sorry, I'm just going to do it this way. 3 over 2, 3, negative 3, and 12. Okay, so now I need to make this down here, this 3 a 1. So I get that row echelon form, all those ones on the diagonal. So it's going to be 1/3 row 3. So we did hit second matrix math. Right, we want star row. So it's 1 divided by 3, comma, matrix B, comma, 3. Okay, hit enter. Okay, you'll get your new matrix. And my new matrix is, you don't need to store because now I have it in row echelon form. I'm not going to use really the calculator for anything else. But write down your matrix. Okay, so now that we have our matrix, and I have it in row echelon form, now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to write your system of equations. So write that down. Now, write your system. You're going to solve it, and you're going to check. Okay, so I'm just going to move this stuff up. So my system of equations is, remember, this is your x, your y, 1x, 1y, and 1z. So your system of equations is going to be x minus y plus z equals 6. Y minus 3/2 z equals negative 3. And z is equal to 4. Okay, so I have z is equal to 4, so I'm going to plug in z for the z value up here. It's backward substitution. So y minus 3 over 2 times 4 equals negative 3. So I have y minus 6 is equal to negative 3. Add 6, y is equal to 3. And now you're going to take your y, your z, plug it in up here. Sorry, plug it in for your y and your z here. So it's x minus 3 plus 4 is equal to 6. So x plus 1 is equal to 6. Minus 1 from both sides. X is equal to 5. All right, so write the word solution. So my x is 5. my y is 3, and my z is 4. And then the last thing you obviously do is you check it, and you obviously check original. Alrighty, so just last thing on the back side of that paper, just need to flip my page. Okay, so a couple things to remember. Make sure you store each time, or your row operation will be performed on the last matrix that you had. Okay, on the last matrix from before. C in the calculator is row swap. So you would do your matrix. If you want to row swap 1 and 3, you type in 1, 3, but make sure you type in your matrix, whether it's A or B, whatever. And switch row, that switches rows 1 and 3. D, row plus. That means you're just adding rows. So it would be matrix A or matrix B, whatever. 1, 2, that adds row 1 to row 2. And that obviously replaces row 2. This replaces row 3. To clear the matrix, do second. So you can do this right now since we just finished. So you're going to hit second mem. Number 2, which is memory management. And then it has a plus slash delete. All right, you want number 5, which is matrix. All right, you want to delete A, matrix A. So just hit delete, and then you're done. All right, so we will definitely be practicing tomorrow in class, and you all have a good night.